All right, so thanks for staying with us. Today is World Contraception Day. It's a day set aside to contribute to raising awareness of contraception and contraceptives in the general population. Joining us on the show is a consultant gynecologist and obstetrician with vast years of practice experience in managing obstetrics and gynecological cases, as well as skilled in IVF, Dr. Joel Akande. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
So is it Contraception Day or Contraceptives Day? I'm not even sure.
Let's call it Contraception Day.
Contraception Day.
Yes.
So why was this day in itself needed to bring awareness on the issue of contraception? What exactly is the objective of Contraception Day?
Well, the world, as we are today, is over 8 billion people. So the question is, are we, and given the climate disaster that we are facing, and everybody is asking the question, are we overpopulating? Are we consuming the earth resources? Then we can replenish it. And it also makes sense for the respective authorities to drive awareness to families, to individuals, that you have to take responsibility for the children that you may have and train them well. So people might not know that this is what methods are available, or even there is any contraception at all. They want to stop, but they may not know. So it's very important that we drive attention to...
8 billion people, and 200 million of those are inside Nigeria. Over
Yes.
200 million of those are inside Nigeria.
Yes.
Oh, we must be seriously overpopulated.
Well, it's even better now. Our growth rate increased slightly, but we're still very much contributing hugely to, to
Did
the
they reduce
population.
because of contraception?
Well, I think more of economics.
4, 5,
I think, you see, there are factors that will drive senses into individuals that nobody needs to
School
be told.
fees.
School fees, feeding costs, living costs.
I think those are types of
accommodation costs.
contraception.
So all of these.
I don't mind this woman. She's laughing at me.
She threw one at
She
you.
threw a jab at me, and I throw it right back at you.
So the economic indices will tell us, will indicate that, yeah, it's about time you put common sense into what you are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I saw that you were the one here talking about Contraception Day, I'm like, here we go again with men in our business. But I think I'll use the opportunity to make it about men and also the sort of contraceptives that's available to them. I think we need to talk about that more so that men understand that they have options as well.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I must tell you also that men are really participating to a large extent, although we still have a lot of work to do. Okay. Traditionally, it has always been focused on women for good reasons. But we have responsibilities as men, and as physicians, we also have responsibility to educate the men. As to the second part of the question, what methods are available for men? They are basically almost equal or fairly some reasonable numbers. Number one is abstinence. And when your woman or your partner is in fertility period, you can say, no, don't let us do this. It's only about 5 days in a cycle. So you can say, no, let's withhold it.
It's okay. You're talking to me. Nigerian men.
5 days.
5 days in the entire cycle
You
of
shouldn't
the
do
month.
anything.
Yes. So
That will make it 7 days.
He said that a lot of them participate. So how many of them participate in that abstinence?
We'll say that the 5 days of the period as well as the 5 days of ovulation. So that's a total of 10 days in a month. And you have 20 days. 20 days, no reaching out to do it in
I think it's a fair deal.
It's a fair deal, sir.
So a lot of men...
Some people need them for 31 days. Why did they talk 20 days? I don't understand.
People like, why are you still needing?
Nick, I'm celibate now.
You, like,
now.
do you even know the meaning of celibacy?
Almost.
So I don't mind her. She's very active.
Let's get back to
which
you.
is
So
good.
We're talking about men.
But I can't have children anymore.
Well, that's...
Thank goodness.
Natural contraception.
Compared to the amount of time you are doing it, thank goodness you can have kids no more.
Are you in the room with us?
So you might say naturally, but when it comes to fertility this age, the oldest person is 74-year-old. But anyway,
It can come. No, I'm looking myself.
That's with help of doctors. So now that's the natural way of doing it. Also, women can also encourage the men to use calendar method, which is what I just said. Now, on the more practical side is the fact that there's condom, which is what most men will probably go for. But then we have to look at the realities and practicalities of this. men want skin to skin. That's the reason why they will avoid contraception, because they want skin to skin. But condom is still very popular among men. And then in the recent times, very common in Europe though, we have few in Nigeria, not as much as in Europe, of vasectomies, meaning that your sperm, the way the semen are conducted, the road by which, the path by which the sperm travel are cut. But it's reversible. The other one...
Is it reversible?
It's reversible. It's reversible. But you need to think critically that this is what I want to do before you...
Sir, if one of our colleagues, Nima, if she was here, she's likely to say, one comma, follow more, as in they don't count children for people. So if it happens, it happens. And many people just feel like, listen, this was God. If you keep having it as long as God is blessing you. How do we stop this thinking or mentality that people have usually?
Well, war and peace is waged in the heart of men and women, of course. So it begins with the heart. It begins with your desire. It begins with your decision. It begins with your mind that this is what I want to do. And that is why this talk is very important, to put it really in their minds that it is possible. You need to put economy into your planning. So
I'm happy that Mariam started off the conversation with the lineup of getting men to take responsibility for controlling the number of children the family gets to have. But another thing that we can have as a conversation is culturally, some men will be like, I want to have children. Like, I love children, and I want to have as many as possible and prevent their wives from taking any control over their own body to say, this is what I want, this is how having children is affecting my life. And let's have that conversation to letting men understand the impact of having having more children and giving their wives the opportunity to make a decision like, I want to have family planning by myself.
Yes, but again, the men must participate. The advice is that you take control of your body, either as a woman or as a man. The woman principally must take control, not be forced upon by the man. So the woman must say, okay, I had enough, it's my body, I'm giving these children part of my body, my nutrients, my resources are being given and being diminished by the sharing of
Can you
this.
share more on that? The way the women's body diminishes with the more children they have.
Every person that is pregnant, every woman that is pregnant, shares her body, her resources, that the body resources, the nutrients, with the baby. They are shared.
And but it can be replenished once the baby is born.
Well, you are never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same.
I heard of one woman that was 50-something that got pregnant, that this is how she became. She got bent over.
In as much as we discourage, it is possible you can get pregnant in these days and technology age. You can get pregnant at any time, if you wish, in the adult I'm talking about. But then, the older you are, there are higher chances that you will get more, you will need more replenishment. You'll be depleted more by the time you are older.
Let's talk about contraceptives for a second. A lot of women are always scared of using these things because they say it makes them gain weight, it has different side effects, and there are hormonal issues, and because of that, they rather just not. So what was a new technology or something new? Is anything new to make it easier for women to actually choose a contraceptive that works for them?
Okay, there are. Just before I talk about that, I was talking about the other methods that are available to men.
Yes.
Now, for decades, it has been available to women to have hormones, injections on a regular basis, maybe every 2 months or every 3 months or every 5 years, as it were. The newest in men now is that there are chemicals, hormones too, that men will have to undertake or take regularly for injections to decrease the amount of sperm that is available. Therefore, it is possible that it's not widely available yet, but it is be proving that just as it were for the women, there is also a method for the
fantastic.
men. Now, having said that...
She has a question on that before I come. Yes.
Yes, because you said they can take, the testosterone in men is what gives them that
aggression.
So by the time you are now injecting them, won't they become...
Sissies.
Hello.
Not really. The whole target, that is the balance we're trying to reach here. don't forget that for generations, for millennia, women had been producing estradiol, and yet, when you reach menopause, we give you estradiol, and there are side effects, but you still survive. So men will need to give a balance. There will be a balance, and that is being tried as I speak to you.
We have our gynecologist here with us. You're going to answer concerning the options available, the modern options available for women.
Yes, traditionally it has always been women, the pressure has always been on women, and there are hormones right now that you inject every 2 months. There are hormones for every 3 months. You just put it in, you deposit it in your arm, and there's another one we can implant on the inner side of your arm, and that lasts about 3 years, and there's one that you inject every 3 months. A lot of Nigerian women, in my experience in our facility, a lot of Nigerian women prefer that 3-monthly one.
Why?
The reason being is compatible with breastfeeding.
Oh, okay.
And you can stop it at any time. Within the 3-month period, you might choose not to have it again.
Some of us that are done, having children, what can we do that we just permanently just stop this whole thing?
Well, if you don't want to have accident,
Accidental pregnancy. Yeah.
you don't want to have a bump somewhere, so you need to be very careful. But if there's an emergency one, though, for younger population, I discourage that. It's available, but I do discourage that.
Yeah,
it's available for immediate use, but it can be used for people who are not prepared.
Oh, the pills.
Yes.
No, what she's saying is, she's gone further than every other person on this show. 4. So like she's done. She's gone further than everybody.
It's 4.
Right.
It's 4. It's 4. She's at 4 kids.
Well,
So
you done well.
yes,
Are you
she has done well. So she cannot afford accident. If I have accident now, I'll get to 4. She will get to 3.
Right.
So, but
I mean, I can't have accidents.
You never know. You never know.
For people that are already married, that are done with having
having
Yes.
kids.
what is a permanent solution to avoid
Pregnancy.
accidents?
Well, you can have it removed.
No. Removing the womb.
Yes, you can have.
Remove the womb removed.
You can have the womb removed.
Is it going to be
You can
very
also tie it.
invasive?
You
I mean, you
can-
have to cut off my stomach and all that.
Yes, you can cut it if you like, or tie it as the case.
Is it invasive? Can I like
It's a day case. You can go home the same day.
Okay.
But
so
do you have
it's
to?
keyhole.
My question is,
It's a
do you
keyhole surgery, so that
keyhole,
a
gotcha.
camera goes in here, a camera goes in
and
there,
clips it?
and
I could do that in a
clip
day.
it.
Oh,
So
cool.
we go home, come in the morning, go home in the evening.
I know you're a
But just-
gynecologist, and these are some of the things that maybe you share as options.
Yes.
But have you had cases where people have had side effects or complained about
course.
those options? These
Yes.
2 particular options you've talked about.
The water we drink, the food you eat, everything has side effects. So, yes, if you take vegetable and you don't like it, you're likely to go to toilet very frequently or you belch. So, now, everything has side effects. But what we say is put the benefit against the risk, and then you choose what is suitable for you, what is really appropriate for you and your family. There are some people that even the condom is not useful for them. It's not suitable for them. They have the injections. The couple cannot hold it. So if you cannot hold it, then you need something at the background that will work regardless of your emotional variations. So you have injection, it's going to be there. You have coil, which is also a hormone one, which lasts 5 years. It's there. You have copper. You have something, a device which has no hormone. The hormone might not be suitable for you. You have an inert subject, and it's also
There's
not.
a question.
Okay.
Let me have a call. I got a call and I'll come to you, Ike. Wisdom from Oshogbo. Thanks for calling, Wisdom.
Thank you so very much.
You're live.
Thank you so very much, ma. I wish to ask your guest just one question.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, ma. Please, the question is why the one in plantation for 3 years or thereabouts. Okay, after implantation is done, the time they are ready to have another child,
Okay.
the conception becomes an issue.
Okay.
So much so that she removed it around October last year.
Okay.
And came out with two of conception, which my own opinion and view is related to implantation that stuff that she did. So in such a situation,
What can
we
she
need
do?
to do.
Thank you, Wisdom. Did you get the question? So she's saying about somebody that did implantation for 3 years, and then when they were ready to have kids, they want to remove it, but they're having trouble. Yeah.
Yes, that is one of the side effects. It might last longer than the intended purpose.
Okay.
The duration, it might last longer. But that is not to say it's not reversible. It's certainly reversible. That's in the minority of cases.
Okay.
And then when you are ready to have conception, you are ready to again, I think the best thing is to approach the fertility specialist or gynecologist to help you.
So they'll be able to help you get back.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask, how can we convince men? Because men don't really like that place being touched at all. Many of them, they will not even go for prostate checkup.
Yes.
You know, so how are you going to convince men to be cutting that place that is so important to them? That's one. Two, a lot of these contraceptives, don't they have side effects, cancerous side effects for women?
Okay.
I will let the last question with a caution for people who are at risk of breast cancer, who are at risk. They should be very cautious about taking hormones.
Okay.
People who are at risk of breast cancer or ovarian cancer should not take hormone. Well, with a caution, should pay attention. But it might also be the only one that is available and suitable for them against the economic impact of having an extra child. So you need to weigh this carefully.
Right.
Now, as to the impact
The second question, I'll let you answer in a second. I have a call. Solomon's been holding up since Abuja. Good morning, Solomon. Thanks for calling. Oh, I'm so sorry for keeping you. Yeah, go ahead and answer why cases. Your first question.
Getting men to be willing to...
Yes, again, like I said at my initial statement, we need to persuade men. The heart is very important. The mindset of everybody needs to be persuaded that these are options. You need to look at the risk of having children, the millions that you're going to spend in raising these children, and the disturbance on your own peace of mind. So if you choose your path carefully, then you will weigh the risk and balance of your path, that this is what I'm going to do. If it results in pregnancy, you don't want termination of pregnancy. And then, of course, termination is another story entirely.
Yeah, so, and I think it's extremely important that while we are weighing that risk as well, we can also know that one of the first option is remove 5 days of that window in a month, and it has worked for many people.
Yes.
So we can avoid accidents that we don't want. But
But
we've been talking about people that are married, but we know that there's a challenge in our country. We have teenage pregnancies and contraceptives. Parents are not having enough conversation with their children regarding contraceptives. We are doing like they're not doing, and they are doing things. Some, because they didn't use contraceptive or get enough education about contraceptives, they have unwanted children, or they do illegal abortion in quack hospitals that cause permanent damage to their bodies. So can we talk about contraceptives for teenagers?
Well, let's face the reality here. This topic is, or this subject should not be for the married couples alone. You will be shocked to know that up to 60,000 Nigerian women die every year of pregnancy-related disorders, majority of which are actually relating to pregnancy. So it means that our the fundamental issue that we have discovered is that reproductive health education is very poor, either at home or in schools. So we have to begin at a very early age, including that contraception is just a bit of the whole topic. So reproductive health, and which is also, contraception is also embedded in that. Your menstruations, when you begin, how do you take care of it? If you don't, you are going to get pregnant. That topic shifts to contraception. If you have sex, you are likely to get pregnant. So families, parents must face it, educate especially the girls, but also the boys, that if you go get somebody pregnant, you are now a dad, and your responsibility begins almost.
Let me take this call. I'll come back to you. David, thanks for... Oh, I'm so sorry again. I guess we have to just be getting this call.
We have plenty baby mamas. And we have many celebrities, and even those that are not celebrities, who have found themselves either as men trapped with pregnancy, with a child, to ensure that the girls have a lifeline of cash flow from these celebrities. And then we have some that it was just a mistake that it happened. So when we are having this conversation, some of them end up using those pills that you didn't want to mention the brand name.
Yes.
But those pills also have side effects. Can you talk about those after pills and the side effects they have?
Emergency
The
contraception.
emergency pills will give you protection within a matter of 72 hours if you take it immediately, within 72 hours of encounter with your partner. Now, the side effects is that what we have found mostly is that it disrupts your hormones. Your period may not come when it's supposed to come. You might start bleeding when you are not supposed to bleed. You might be delayed and you are wondering if you are pregnant. And of course, a few still will slip through the net and result in pregnancy. So these are major disruptions that may also occur.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning. You're live. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, my name is Adirunke.
I can't hear. I need the volume.
I said my name is Adirunke.
Thank you.
From Agbara.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Please, my question, I don't know whether it really goes with what they're discussing, but I know that it falls in line with it. A child that is not a teenager anymore, and the menstrual cycle is not really complete. It fluctuates, like if you menstruate maybe this month, another one will come in another 2 or 3 months. The cycle is not really stable. And I'm not sure of, do a surgery. And also another option is be on contraceptive. And the menstruation will not come until when such a child is ready to start having children before the contraceptive will be stopped. I think the doctor understands what I'm saying.
Yes, I do perfectly understand what you're saying. There's a suspicion here that this woman or the lady has what is called hormone imbalance.
Oh, okay.
The fundamental truth is that contraceptive pill is not the solution to that point. It's just kind of giving the hope that you are having your regular periods. The lady should go see a specialist, a fertility doctor or reproductive endocrinologist. So I hope the listener is taking note, a reproductive endocrinologist or a fertility doctor who will look deeply into the hormones and the disturbance that this girl is suffering from. Contraception will not really be, it's not the answer. Contraceptive pill is not the answer.
So, as we talked about teenagers, I mean, with the little boys, they don't have anything they can do, right? Because little boys seem to be really active. I mean, is that something they can do also to reduce?
Look, I used to live in Britain, and it was like there was this teenage boy who was sleeping all over. Before he was even 16, he had impregnated about 10. So the mom said, look.
How many? 10?
Yes. The
Before
mom,
he was 16.
Before he was, and the mom called him and said, look, you better keep that thing deep inside between your thighs. So the implication, parental influence is that, look, you better be disciplined. You have to take responsibility. You better be disciplined.
Let me take
10 children
Abdul
before 16.
Razak from Kaduna. Thanks for calling. How
Was
comes
it
to
in
me?
Nigeria?
No, in Britain. It was.
Abdul Razak, thanks for calling.
It wasn't in Nigeria, no.
It was a British boy.
Good morning, sir.
Please, I am calling in respect of this topic that you are talking about.
Yes.
Please, I have a situation whereby my wife, she put on this transplant this thing on her hand. So since when she stopped breastfeeding, she stopped seeing her menstruation.
Okay.
So I now noticed I took her to a gynecologist. They count everything and they discovered that there's nothing inside her, and I said all my own thoughts. I thought that maybe all these toilet infection that stopped her not to be seeing menstruation. So as I'm talking to you, if she sees menstruation today, it will reach like 4 months, 5 months before she can see another one. So I now say that, is there any way that the doctor can advise?
All right. If I get the question very well, she was breastfeeding, and then she put the implant, and the menstruation became irregular.
Nearly almost every 4 months.
Every 4 months. Now, there are two issues here. The first one is that breastfeeding itself, if you breastfeed very, very well, especially in the first 6 months, is guaranteed, 98%, that it's a form of contraception. I just want to quickly chip in that breastfeeding is a form of contraception. Now, as to the other one, that the periods are not regular, I think the information did not properly get across to the user, the family who is using it, that these hormones, particularly the one that you put as implant, the injectables that you inject in the bum or the arm, can actually, including the one that you put in the womb, can actually cease your period for as long as you have them. So the one you put in the womb, you may not have your period for the next 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So the one you have in the arm may cease your period for that length of time, 3 years. The one that you use
Even after you've taken it out?
Even after you've taken it out, because it takes a little bit longer than... You see, the manufacturers are trying to be smart.
Yes.
They know this thing, and they don't want to be sued for where you failed. So they know that when it's very, very active, it's 3 years. They know it goes longer.
Longer than that.
So they would not tell you that, because it's weakening as it is going.
Okay.
So they don't want to say it.
So there's one that they put in the womb? I didn't even realize there was something you can put in the womb.
There are.
Coils
No, the coil is different from...
The coil...
I have used...
I thought you were going to tell us the type that they put in the womb.
There are two types that you can put in the womb. Let me give you a little bit of stories. Ages ago, in the early days of contraception in Egypt, we were talking of 5,000 years ago now. Our forefathers, our foreparents, our foremothers will put anything that is not active in the womb. And they discovered that the pregnancy was not occurring. And that was the basis in which we now...
How did they reach the womb? How did they get to the womb?
Well, that's a long story. That's a very complex... that's a very complicated issue. So now, in the modern age, we have about two. One does not have hormones. One have hormone. And the one that does not have hormone can last as long as, even up to 7 years, 12 years, can last if you put it properly, as long as it is in place. The one with hormones, we guarantee that it will last 5 years. You may not have your period for those duration of time. The one without hormones, you will have your period regularly. So it has advantages and disadvantages. If you don't like
This
period...
thing you're putting, is it like a pill you put in the womb?
It's a coil.
Oh, it's a coil.
Yes.
Is it not the IUC?
It's IUCD. I didn't want to go too technical. It's IUCD. It's the coil.
It's that's what
I use.
Yes, it's the coil.
To hear your business.
No, I don't think there's any problem with everybody hearing my business, because I think it's important that we discuss this thing.
No, it's a reality.
Yes.
It's practical, so that if you show it that, you know, it's not strange, particularly you here, people will be encouraged to say, well,
I had twins, and I went to the hospital 6 weeks after for the 6 weeks check after delivery, and I met someone in the hospital who was 3 months after, and she was pregnant, and she also had twins. So the matrons were all shouting at her because they told her that at 6 weeks, do family planning, and she did not agree. And now she's bringing twins to the hospital, and she's pregnant at 3 months after having the twins. So when I saw it right there at the hospital, I didn't even do any phone call to call my parents or my mom. I asked for what can I do? And they said I could do the IUCD, which is like a coil. And that's what I did. So immediately, I made that decision, and I removed it after 3 years with my children were 3 years, and I had another child 4 years after my twins, which was the way I wanted it to be.
So it took a year after you took the coil out to have
No, it didn't take a year, actually. I got pregnant 2 months after I took out my coil, but I lost the pregnancy, then I got pregnant again. So that's my own story, and I know many people that have done that coil. So the coil has more... it's less hormonal.
Yes, more flexibility.
And more flexibility. And anytime you remove it, 2 or 3 months after, people can get pregnant. So it's something everybody that wants to think can...
Okay, my question is, can I...
Well, I don't want to mention brands.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I'll let you go, Mary. Because that coil thing, I remember you used to complain that it hurts.
When I just did it.
Just checking.
Yes. And
when I
also
just did it, and my period was irregular.
Good. And you also mentioned that the hormones, the hormonal one, sometimes women may not even see their period. Isn't there a repercussion for a woman not being able to menstruate?
Take a scenario that you are anemic. You should normally, in the majority of 80% of women will probably be anemic as a result of their period. because you bleed every month.
Yeah.
And you probably don't eat enough. So if you take that scenario that you are losing blood, it's inconvenient for some. It's anemic. It causes anemia for some. Some people with a very, very heavy period, close to death even. So that is a therapy, that's a treatment that will save their lives. So some, it is inconvenient. Some periods are not very welcome. And for others, it is anemia. So this, your balances. But on the other hand, you may not ovulate if you may not release eggs. That is called ovulation. Now, you might ask me, why? Ovulation is the woman is the ovulation. With ovulation, your hormones balance. So, but if you are going to have, think about it, if you are going to have a meeting with a top end of the government or a business meeting and you don't want to be on your period, you don't want to have a wrinkled face, you don't want to have inconveniences, this saves you that economic inconveniences.
But
I'm just
there are many options.
It's not worth it if it's for a meeting.
No, I'm just telling you.
Just give me an example.
I'm just giving you an example.
We have to wrap up very soon, but somebody asked me here about, again, this, I don't know if you're interested in this question. It says, what age should we start teaching our children sex education? Or is it good to introduce your children to contraceptive as when they become teenagers?
I will give myself as a personal example.
Please.
Okay.
I was going to have shower with my 5-year-old children, 5 and 6. And then the younger one held his private and said, Daddy, I said, yes, what do we use this thing for? That was the question. I was so shocked that as young as this, and I opened my eyes that, look, I have got to do something. That moment, I just sat down, I took a deep breath. 5-year-old, I took a deep breath, and then sat down, sat the two of them down there, and said, okay, this is useful, this is what it is for. You will hear, when you are married, how you came out into this world, it is used, this is how you pass it. And I started educating them. The following day or the following week, I bought a book on reproduction, sat them down. By the time I saw that book, they have read it to the extent that every page had been dirty. You could see hands on it. Yeah. So the sooner, the better. It's not about teaching them sex, but about safety, their own well-being. Yeah. The sooner, the better. The reproduction. You learn it yourself so that girls and boys know their body, their function.
So that was one part of...
If anything should happen, like my brother's boys are 16. You will just not go to school again.
Well, you use your money for school to be raising the child.
That's the reality.
We have to wrap up.
Final, because there was another part to that question, which is the how soon do you think, how early should a growing adolescent start using contraception?
As soon as you know, if it's a girl, as soon as you know a man, let me put it out.
All right,
as
we
soon
have
as
to
you
run.
know a man.
Thank you so much, sir. That's all we can take on today's show. We run way out of time.
Which 13?
Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
13.